Hey everybody, it's me Stacey here at Scrapbooking Made Simple, scrapbookingmadesimple.com, and it's time for our next Saturday with Stacey YouTube class number 548. Oh my gosh, we're almost to 550. Wow, amazing. We are also counting down to 1 million YouTube subscribers. Truly mind blown. I have been on YouTube. My channel is so old. You might have been able to watch me when we still had antennas on our TVs. I was like, is she coming in? If not, get the aluminum foil and put it on the antennas. That's how long I have been on YouTube. And we're finally getting to close to 1 million subscribers. I can't wait. Now, in today's technique-based commercial-free class, I have got beautiful products for you from Creative Expressions. I have brand new 3D embossing folders with coordinating stencils, and they are certainly swoon worthy. We are going to start super simple, but then we are going to Staceyfy them. Oh yes, we are. You can hear I'm still a little bit sick. Every time I think I'm getting over it, I'm not. So bear with me. I'm going to get through today's class, because I'm filming this Friday night, and we're going to have a great time live chatting. We may have a slightly shorter class than normal, which is 3 hours. So if I get it in under 3 hours, it's a slightly shorter class than normal, but I promise you, you're going to have an amazing time. We're going to play with beautiful products. You're going to be reminded of a tip or a trick that maybe you forgot about. You might learn something new that you didn't know you could do. And I'm doing it all with product that you may already have in your crafty stash. So if you already have 3D embossing folders that you love, 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 you may be able to pull everything out right now and do this whole thing with me together while we are live chatting during the premiere. Live chat going on over here if you're joining me during the premiere, 8 a.m. sunny California time, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern. So if you see that live chat, don't forget to say hello, hello. Now I have winner chicken dinner to announce. I have two lovely ladies who have won a $25 gift card. Congratulations to both of you. I will announce you in just a second. Remember, we are counting down to that 1 million subscriber number, which is craziness. But when we get there, we'll be giving away $1,000 worth of gift cards. $1,000 worth of gift cards. So stay tuned for that announcement. As soon as we get to that 1 million number, the next YouTube, we will do that offering. And of course, let you pick how we divvy up that money. One person getting all $1,000, 2 people getting $500, 10 people getting $100, but not yet. We're not to 1 million yet, but oh, so close. So bear with me. I've got my drink. I'm going to need it. But we are going to rock today for sure. So our first winner chicken dinner, and this was from YouTube 547, which was the layering stencils by Studio Light. And we had the glitter, and we just had a whole lot of stuff last week. It was way too much fun. My first winner is Carolyn Shirey? The I would be a heart. Shirey. Carolyn Shirey, is that it? Carolyn, you don't mind if I said your last name wrong. Why? Because you're a winner chicken dinner. Hello, girlfriend. $25 is already in your online account. Congratulations to you, but you are not alone. We always pick 2 unless it's a big number, like the $1,000. But once I get to 1 million, we go back to $25 every week until we get to 5 million maybe. Who knows? The girl's got to have a goal, right? So our next winner is Denise. Denise Kolovich? Is that it, Denise? Am I close? Denise Kolovich, congratulations. You also are a winner chicken dinner. So I have Carolyn and Denise. Congratulations to both of you. $25 is already in your online account to spend on anything that makes your heart happy here at Scrapbooking Made Simple. And boy, you got some good choices. So let's do the winner chicken dinner dance, and then we will get started for today. Are you ready? Okay. I feel like I'm about to do a cheer. You're a winner, chicken dinner. You're a winner, chicken dinner. Wahoo, ka-choo, for you. Congratulations to the both of you. I hope you enjoy your winnings. And if you want a chance to be a winner, chicken dinner, it's certainly so easy. The live chat comments don't count. I say it every week and everybody says, oh, I'm posting my comment for a winner in the live chat. It doesn't count. You have to post it below. There's a comment section below. Put your comment there. As long as it's polite, kind, we will approve it because we weed out all the spam. And once it is approved, you are in the running to be a winner chicken dinner. We pick 2 people every week unless it is a week where there is a big number change in my subscribers. But once we get to the 1 million, we do the $1,000 giveaway, and then we're back to $25. So I'm excited to be here with you today. I'm going to tilt on down. We're going to get started. Please bear with me, and but I'm sure that we're going to have an amazing time. And we're live chatting, or I'll be on really soon. I'll be live chatting with you very soon. So I'm Stacey. This is Scrapbooking Made Simple, and we have an amazing Saturday with Stacey YouTube class for you. We're going to Staceyfy something. Get ready. All right, so I'm going to tilt on down and we're going to get started for today. All right. So down we go. Okay, so I want to show you quickly 2 samples. I have oodles of samples, don't get me wrong, but 2 fabulous samples that I wanted to show you. Mainly because I want you to see the size difference. This is one of the 3D embossing folders and stencils from Creative Expressions. Beautiful, truly beautiful. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? But here it is again. Same embossing folder, same stencil. Again, truly beautiful, absolutely stunning. But look at the size difference, right? I want you to see that you can make a beautiful, big, fabulous card. Caroline, I heard you the other day in the store. We need things to make big cards. Here it is. Or you can make something a little smaller. So there we have it. The same embossing folder, the same stencil, done in 2 completely different sizes. All right, so I'm going to play a little bit today, and we are going to start super simple. I want to show you the sets, and I want to explain that first off, you can get the embossing folder all by itself. You do not have to get the embossing folder with the stencil. You cannot get the stencil all by itself. The stencil doesn't make a whole lot of sense without the embossing folder. So we have the embossing folders by themselves. We have an I Want It All of the 4 embossing folders, and then we have an I Want It All of the embossing folders and the stencils. The only thing you can't buy on their own are the stencils. Look at how pretty. Isn't that beautiful? So I'm going to be working with the embossing folders, and the stencils, and then I might go back to just the embossing folders. Now the embossing folders are relatively inexpensive. I want to say they're around $9 each, and then they're on sale. So maybe they're 7 times 4. So I think it's under $30 if you wanted all 4 embossing folders. Once you add the stencil, the price goes up a little bit, but these aren't single layer stencils. No, They're double layer stencils so that you get the best stenciling ever. That way you can blend those colors and your leaves are green and your roses are red. They did double layer stenciling so you have options when you are coloring in that embossing folder. So I'm going to start at the very beginning, and I'm going to assume that you've never seen an embossing folder before, and that's what this is. This is an embossing folder. It's a piece of molded plastic. It kind of is flexible. Once you buy it, if you take care of it, it will last you a lifetime. I will tell you in the beginning when you get these, because it is an molded piece of plastic that is injected, when you're using it the first few times, the edges of the plastic might be sharp enough to cut through your paper. You may want to take a piece of chipboard or a cardboard cereal box and put it in here and send it through your machine. And what that's going to do is round out some of the edges so they're not as sharp. Embossing folders are one of the things that get better over time. The more you use it, the better it is. Now, I want you to notice something, and this is so wahoo kachoo. For the first time ever, Creative Expressions has put their name on the folder number, and the name of the design. That way you know this is the top side. This is the side you want to see facing you. They have indexed it for us. Wahoo kachoo, kudos, congratulations. If I could do you a cheer, I would. The best you're gonna have to get is well done, Creative Expressions. All 4 of the embossing folders have been indexed, so you know this is your front side. Now, when I send these through, you need to send them through with a die cutting machine, and it can be the die cutting machine of choice. This is a 3D embossing folder. It's not as thick as some. If this was a Sizzix embossing folder, 3D embossing folder, or a memory box, it would almost be double this thick. So the sandwich that we're going to use, I'm using for my Big Shot machine. This is what I'm doing for my Big Shot machine. Now, if you've got another die cutting machine, you may have to figure out a different sandwich. But for a Sizzix Big Shot machine, a Big Kick machine, a Vagabond, a Plus, a Pro, chances are that the sandwich is going to be exactly the same as what I am showing you. I have got my base platform that comes with your machine. I have got my solo shim that comes with your machine. And typically, we normally sandwich everything with a Big Shot machine. We put it between 2 cutting plates and then we send it through, but not with a 3D embossing folder. With some 3D embossing folders, we take it and put it directly to the base platform. In fact, Sizzix 3D embossing folders are that way because they're so thick. So if you were to look at this and follow the directions and put your 3D embossing folder straight onto your base plate, which is fine because it's not going to cut into anything, it's just flat plastic, and then put a cut plate over the top and send it on through, let's see what's going to happen. Oh, that's going way too easy. Way too easy. I got nothing. Nothing, honey. So my sandwich wasn't thick enough because this isn't as thick as a Sizzix embossing folder. So I'm going to bring back my solo shim and I'm going to put that on top. Then I'm going to put my paper back in. And when I put my embossing folders through my machine, I try to do the end, the open side first. Chomp, chomp, chomp. I try to go chomp, chomp, chomp. I don't generally start with my sealed side, my scored side, my closed side. I go with my open side, chomp, chomp, chomp. Now people will always say, well, doesn't that add too much pressure to your hinges? Well, frankly, there are no hinges here. It's a molded piece of plastic. And in the 20 years that I've been doing this, more than 20 years, but let's not talk about that, I have never ever had a problem going chomp, chomp, chomp. I will tell you, it tends to feed into your machine a little easier with the open side, the chomp, chomp, chomp going first. So I'm going to put down I've got my base platform. I've got my solo shim because I need just a little bit more height so that my embossing folder will hit the roller that's in my machine right here. I've got a cut plate or a do not cut plate, entirely up to you. I'm going chomp, chomp, chomp side first. Straighten up my platforms and send it on through. And see, I can tell there's a difference. It's much better this time. And I can go front. And if I want, I can bring it back. Up to you if you want to bring it back or not. Open it up. And look at that embossing. It's beautiful. I mean, when it casts a shadow, you know that's good, right? When it casts a shadow. So this is a 3D embossing. And because this is a piece of plastic, this is going to last you forever if you take care of it. You're going to be able to use this again and again and again for all sorts of different kinds of embellishments or layouts or card making. This is all of these designs actually today are very universal and are anything from with sympathy to happy birthday to get well soon to happy retirement. It's up to you what you want to use them for. Now that's the easiest way to use an embossing folder, and I want to color it for you quickly without doing it on a stencil. I want you to see that you can color these without using a stencil. So I've got my Stacey Park Jacquard dye-based inks. These are so much more than dye-based inks. You're going to see that a little bit later. And I have got my, oh, where's my yellow? Oh, here we go. I've got my blending brushes here. And I'm going to start with a little bit of yellow because yellow is my go-to. And I'm just going to tap in. And you know what? I think I want my little blending mat. So I'm going to tap in, tap off. Now, what makes my ink so special? First off, they are highly saturated. Highly saturated. So a little goes a long way. They are water soluble, so you can use water reactive. You can spritz them. You can blend with them. You can paint with them. But as you're going to see, you can also use embossing powder with them. So a little bit of yellow. And I'm just taking my blending brush and I'm just gently going over the top. Just gently. I'm adding just a little bit of yellow everywhere. Kind of give it a little bit of a base color. So I've just got a little bit of yellow hinting out there. I could do a little bit more if I really wanted to. And pick up the color that I've laid down so I don't waste my color, which is why I use a blending mat. This is actually, the blending mat that I sell is A4 size. It's as big, well actually it's right here, can I get it? Yes. It is by Woodware and it's like $5.50. It's A4 size, and then I take it and I cut it into several different pieces. I have one piece that's a big sheet if I'm doing like painting or color, you know, blobs of color. I've got a little one. I always have a couple different sizes. I don't need the full A4 size as it is, but it sure is helpful when I can cut it down into several different sizes. And for the price, you just can't go wrong. Okay, so I've got a little bit of yellow going on here. And then let's dip into my red. Can you see how red that is? There's a lot of ink for just a little tap tap. And maybe I'll do some of these up here and over here. Just a little bit of red here. And all I'm using are blending brushes right now. Because the height of the design is so dimensioned up, I can get in there with just my blending brushes and not make a mess. My green. Ooh, see, lots of green. Holy smokes, artichokes. And I'm just going to come right over the top. And because I already put yellow down, I'm making some little blends. And because the detail is dimensioned so high, I can go in there and now that I've got my green down, I can come back with my yellow and just kind of blend some of that color. And in no time at all, with just 3 colors, I've got a beautiful card front. I've got a beautiful image for my scrapbook. Put this on one side and down below, a mat to do your pictures. But these are what makes my inks so special. So bing, bang, boom. I don't think it gets any faster than that. And I just went for it. And because it's a 3D embossing folder, the design has the height so that my blending brushes will hit it beautifully. So pretty. So not straight. All right, there's one. Put my lids back on. And I think I will mount this. I'm gonna wipe down my little blending. I got a lot of green on there still. If I had a spray bottle handy, I would just make a background with this. Okay, let's mat this one in black just to set it off a little bit, and we'll call it done and move on to our next one. I wanted to show that if you are brand new to crafting, you can do this. That didn't take much. It's white paper, some inks, and you do a few of them with no expectation when you're starting, and before you know it, you've become a pro. I just blended right onto it, straight on without the stencil. Put some double-sided adhesive down. This is Stacey tape. Make a nice little mat. Trim it out. And we have one done. Now, what if you wanted to use black paper? How would we do that? Well, let's grab some black paper. And for this one, I will use the embossing folder that I just used, and I'll grab one more because there are 4 in total, and I want you to see all 4 used either one way or another. So here again, my base platform, my solo shim, because the Creative Expressions embossing folders are not as thick as Sizzix or Memory Box. Remember that they now index. They put the name, their name, the SKU number. That way you know this is the side you want facing. If this is the project you're doing and this is pattern paper or a specialty paper, you know that that's what you want facing you because this is the top side. I'm gonna do chomp, 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 chomp. So I'm gonna send it in with the opening side going in first. I've got my top plate going in, and I'm gonna send it on through. And give a roll. And then if I want to, I can bring it on back. Up to you. Some people spritz their paper before they do embossing. It's all up to you. Okay. Hello, beautiful. Oh my gosh. Is that stunning? All right, so I did this one, and I want to do one more. I'm going to do here. So that way we have 2 to play with. Okay, so let's put this one there. Bring my machine back over. I'm just going to do a wash, rinse, and repeat. Chomp, chomp, chomp goes in first. Right now I'm using 80-pound cardstock. You could use 100-pound if you wanted. I'm using smooth cardstock. This is simply defined. Give it a roll. Send it on through. And then I can bring it on back. And let's see what we get. Gorgeous, right? These are absolutely beautiful. But how do you color on black? Because if I've got my inks, let's take my Plum Crazy. I've got my inks. And I go to ink them, and I put it on black. And because it's a dye-based ink, it absorbs into the paper. So you get no color. The black is absorbing the color. You can't see what color Plum Crazy is. Plum Crazy is actually really pretty. That's the color, but a dye-based ink will never show on black paper. You would need to use a pigment-based ink because pigment-based ink is going to sit on top of the paper, or drum roll, please. You can use luster wax from Sizzix. So luster wax, we have it in an assorted number of colors, but I have an exclusive. I want to see, make sure that I've got all the colors out. I have an exclusive on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm missing 2 colors. Let's see if I can locate the last 2 colors. Oh, magenta, 6, and purple. Here are the 7 colors of luster wax that the only place you're going to find them is here at Scrapbooking Made Simple. We've got the exclusive on them, and what they are is dreamy. They are a true wax-based product, really a wax-based product, so you can use them on 3D printing, plastic, wood, glass, metal, paper. It has an orange, I can't smell it. It has an orange blossom smell to it. It is water soluble, but when it's dry, and it goes on like a dream. Now, I was able to get my hands on a whole mess of these Studio Light little daubers. They come 3 to a pack with 3 extra little foams, and we're selling it as a bundle. These are hard to come by. I tell you, I originally had them in the flat, but I can't get them. It's crazy. So I got them in the dome, and I bought all they had, let me tell you. And they work perfectly. You don't ever have to replace the little foamy, the sponge. It just works every time. I don't replace them. I've even blended it into them, and I'm gonna be fine. And the colors on black are simply beautiful. So I can come in and grab a little. It's easier to grab a little from the bottom and then take it up the side and kind of grab it from the side. I can come in and start adding some color. And because it's a wax, it sits on top. So pretty. And I'm just hitting all my little flowers. And look at how easy peasy that is. And look at how the colors pop. But I can add other colors. So the yellow is truly yellow. It's not a gold, it's a yellow. So I can come in here and grab a little bit and then move it up on the side and pull from the side. And I can go in and maybe brush this with a little bit of yellow if I want. And add a little more color. And it dries almost instantaneously. That's one of the big things about luster wax is you're not waiting for any kind of time for it to dry. It dries almost instantaneously. And the colors, again, are just dreamy, especially on the black. So let's come in and let's do some green. It goes a long way and it lasts quite some time. So that green on the black almost has a goldy touch to it. And I'm just going to put down a little base color. And you see how easy this is? because the definition of that embossing folder is so high, I'm just hitting the tops of it with my tiny mini little dauber, and these are mini. Okay, so I've got some color going on. And now I can come back. Look at how beautiful is this. And I could even go in with some darker blue if I wanted. And I can just play until my heart is content. And I can layer these colors upon layer, upon layer, upon layer. What do you think? I want this one blendy a little. They're a little blendy. They're beautiful, right? And they're easy to use. And I mean, you can just go over them again and again until you get the right look that you want. And it looks like metal. So there's that one. Let's do this one. So let's do, let's see what our magenta gives us. Kind of a soft shimmer of a pink on the black. And then maybe my yellow for my center. Ooh. And then let's do a little bit of my leaves maybe in the yellow. And once you get going, you can just get going. then I can come back with my teal. Man, these are pretty and easy. And because luster wax dries so fast, I'm not waiting. That's so lovely. All right, I think I'm going to call it done. Could go in there with a little, no, I know, you said done, but just a little bit of that magenta here and there, just to tie it in to the flower. Just a little bit. Just to tie it into the flower. Why not? It's only black paper. That's it. It's only black paper. Love my luster waxes. And so thankful that I do have the exclusive on them. So there are many colors of luster wax. Typically they are gold, silver, ivory, rose gold, which is really copper. There's a charcoal. But if you want the pretties, the turquoise and the blue and the purple and the magenta and the red and the green, you're going to find them here at Scrapbooking Made Simple. And we have the I Want It All bundle on sale and open stock on sale, but the best deal is always going to be on that I Want It All bundle, where you'll get all of the 7 exclusive colors. I sent these colors off to Eileen Hall as a gift. And she's like, oh my gosh. Because she was just used to the gold and the silver. She hadn't seen these. And she's like, holy smokes, artichokes, where have these been? And I'm like, wahahaha. Let's see. So let's just put this one down. And we'll map both of these. And now you know how to do it on black paper. Pigment ink will work, but you're going to have to let it dry. Pigment-based ink is the longest ink to dry. You can use pastes, absolutely, but same thing. They're going to take time to dry. The luster wax is one of the fastest ways to get immediate results without having to wait. Boy, that's a bad cut right there. Let's see if I can fix that up before I put this down. That's still not a great cut, but my my luster waxes, or my tape is in the way. All right, we'll just make do. Imperfect is the new perfect. Handmade is heart made. So if it's not 100% perfect, perfect. That means you didn't go and get it from the store. Okay, there's one. Let's just map the other one super quick. That way, Michael Jr. on Monday can be taking he can take pictures of all of these and add it to the website. He always thinks he's done doing all the images until I get done doing my videos. And then there's another 15 for him to take pictures of. Michael Jr., he's my son. He handles quality control and he does a lot of the graphics. Let's see. Gosh, and he's gonna be 20, is he gonna be 20, 22? I think he's gonna be 22 this year. Oh my goodness gracious. When did that happen? And James is my other son. James handles all of your customer service inquiries. And he's a licensed designer for Couture Creations. He has his own brand, Parkside Crafts. Look at, aren't these pretty? Okay. There, that way. That way. Don't make me laugh, Stacey. So far. We did this one just with ink on white paper. Then we went here, black paper. Now I want to use the stenciling. So I'm going to grab another embossing folder. I'm going to send white paper through. And this time we're going to use the stenciling feature that you can get with these embossing folders. So again, it's indexed, so I know that this is the front side. Bring my machine over. My solo shim, I'm gonna chomp, chomp, chomp through. I'm gonna chomp, chomp, chomp through my way. So no cut plate on the bottom. And then a cut plate on the top. And I'm gonna send it on through. So one. And bring it on back. And look at what I have. Are you drooling? Because they are just that beautiful. Now this one, I am gonna want to use the stencil. And in fact, let's do it in black. And that way we have both of them ready to go. So I'm just gonna roll another one through in black. That way I have two of them. We can do both of them. Big Shot machine is the machine of choice here at Scrapbooking Made Simple. It has been since I think day one. Chomp, chomp, chomp. I've used other machines over the years to show you how to use them, but if you're looking for a workhorse, chomp, chomp, chomp. It's the Big Shot machine. So let's put our top plate on and let's send it on through. One, and then back. Now, some people like to do the stenciling first and then the embossing. Some people like to do the embossing first and then the stenciling. It really is up to you what works best for you. There isn't really, oh my gosh, holy smokes artichokes. It's just beautiful all on its own. Holy smokes. So, let me bring the stencils over. It is a 2-layer stencil. They have put on the top layer 1. I'm grateful for that. It could be much bigger, just saying. And then layer 2. So you know that this is the top of the stencil and the front side. And then I'm going to bring over my stencil and stamp tool from Sizzix. So I've got my stencil and stamp tool today. I'm not going to be stamping anything, so I'm not going to need my top lid. And the top lid comes off just like this. Now we're going to be using this again next week because I have the US exclusive, I think the Americas, I think maybe Canada too, on the Stamp and Spin. And we're going to be using this platform again. But for today I'm not going to need my lid, and you can see it just comes in and out that easy. No clicking, no pressing. So I'm going to put this off to the side just for a minute. I've got my alignment tool, which is what this green thing is called. It's called an alignment tool. Now, I don't know if that's what they named it, but that's what I named it. And this is what makes your stenciling ABC 1, 2, 3 easy. There's 2 nibs at the top. Always remember that those 2 nibs are only meant to hold your alignment tool in place when you're going to put it away. Other than that, you're going to be working with the 2 nibs down at the bottom. Now, all of Sizzix stencils have holes in them so that you can click them right into place. But I'm working with Creative Expressions. They don't have holes in their stencils, so I can put them right into place. With Sizzix, I would be able to click these right down and start stenciling. However, in their infinite wisdom, Sizzix came up with converters. There's 10 converters per pack. I think they're about $5.99. You can reuse them. You can put it on one stencil and then move it to another stencil. And this is what's going to allow us to use our layering stencil today with our stencil and stamp tool. And I'll show you why it's so nice to have this tool with layering stencils. First things first though, we need to add our converters. So I'm going to put my layer 1 down. I'm going to take my converter, peel off the liner, expose my sticky, and then I think I'm going to put my first one on the back side. So I'm just going to put it, kind of line it up. It doesn't matter if it's centered or not. It doesn't matter if it's slightly askew or not. It isn't going to make a difference. But if you pull it off, you can reline it back up. The first one, as long as you've got it down, that's going to set the tone for your second stencil. So I've got it down. I've pressed now. Now I've got those 2 little holes. I can put it right in and snap it on down. Now my second stencil, I've got my layer 2. Here's my layer 1. All I need to do is line it up with my first stencil. So even if the entire stencil is skewed, it's not going to make a difference because I'm layering this on top, lining it up, and then I'm going to put my second converter This time I'm going to put this one on top. So I just want to make sure that I'm all lined up. Obviously, if I'm like this, I don't know if you can see, but I've got stencil here and stencil down here. Here, I'm not lined up at all. Bring it back up. Just go corner to corner. That's all you're doing is lining it up, corner to corner. And then you can put your converter where it belongs. Snap it in place. And down. Now both of my stencils are able to be used with my stencil and stamp tool. Now, let's say I had gone kind of askew. Okay, so I'm really not straight. And I put that down. This is my layer number 1, and I click it into place. I'm gonna do the exact same thing. I'm gonna line up my stencil number 2, and it's gonna be as off center as my stencil number 1. And as long as I have them match, and I layer them on top of each other, I don't want this one to be perfect. I don't want this one straight against it because this one is not. If I just have it slightly, just lay it right over the top of it and line up corner to corner. Put them in, press it down. And now, even though my stencils are not straight, even though they're not on my platform straight, it doesn't matter. They still line up. And that's what matters. So let's take my stencil number 2 off and my stencil number 1 off. Now your stencil and stamp platform comes with something, it comes with something called sticky grid, which is what I've got here. It's basically a glorified Post-it note in an A4 size. It peels off the backing if it eventually will become unsticky. I can tell you I've got embossing powder on mine, but it's still sticky, and what it does is it holds your paper in place. That's what it does. It holds your paper in place. So I'm going to let's see if I can get these lined up. So stencil number 1 goes here. And now I'm going to see if I can get it lined up so I can stencil. I think that looks pretty good. Remember, I'm slightly askew. I didn't go straight. So I'm going to give that a whirl. And now my paper is held down into place. Paper's held into place. It doesn't move. And my stencil aligns right back up. I started it on these right here. These parts of the lid, the closure. My alignment tool has little holes so I can move my stencil down, I can move my stencil over, I can move my stencil across. Wherever it is you want to have your stencil, you can put it there. And because this has no lip on either side, you can use any size piece of paper. But I did dead center, and I've got it lined up there. Let's see how close I am. So I'm going to take my, and I want my blending. What did I do with my blending mat? Hello, blending mat. I know you were here. Oh, where would I put it? If I were a blending mat, where would Stacey have put me? Well, shucks. Let's see if I've got another. Lucky for me, I do. Because I cut mine into so many different sizes. So I'm just gonna tuck this under there and put that down, and now I've got my blending mat. So I'm gonna start with my yellow, because that's me. And I'm going to come in and do a little bit of yellow. I'm just going to do it all in yellow because that gives everything kind of a base coat. So again, some people like to stencil first and then line it up in their embossing folder, or emboss first and then line it up with the stencil. Now here's the thing about this tool. This is what makes this tool so amazing. If I want to look at what I've done, I just lift it up. That's all I have to do is lift it up and see what I've done. If I want to put it back down, I put it back down. And I can see if I want to add more color. Oh, pop in. So I've got a little bit of yellow going on, and let's do a little bit of red. Highly saturated. Okay, I got some red going on. I can lift up and see where I'm at. Kind of looks like a hot mess from there. Put it back down and decide, do I want more yellow? Do I want more red? What color makes my heart happy? I'm going to come back with my yellow one more time and kind of cement it over the top. And really just warm that color up. Okay. That's where I'm at. Stencil number 1, done. Now I pop that on, pull off my stencil number 1, and put on my stencil number 2. I haven't moved my paper. My paper's exactly where it was. My layer number 2 is facing me. I can pop this down. And with any luck, it's going to line up really nicely. Now there's 3 little holes down here at the bottom on this stencil. These 3 little holes are meant to fill in some of the centers of the flowers, should you choose to. So I'm again going to start with some yellow. And just give a little light yellow to everything. Because then I'm going to come back with my green. I just want to make sure that there's nothing left bright white where I'm stenciling. And the yellow will take care of that for me. Okay, now let's come in with the green. The green is Wasabi. Again, these are my inks from Jacquard. Jacquard is a fine art company, and they bought Color Box a few years ago and now do inks, and they asked me to develop inks with them, so I did, and I got to play mad scientist with them. Now look at that. Doesn't that look so good? Look at that. And if I want to see what it actually looks like, I pull it up and there it is. Put it back down and I can continue stenciling. Oodles of green here. And I'm just picking my color right up off my blending mat. That way I'm not wasting any color. And then if I want to, I can come in a little bit of my yellow. And kind of tone those greens. Kind of warm them up, and maybe just a little bit of red right there. And let's see what we have. That is the benefit of using the stencil. So pretty, so easy. And if I wanted to add more or do more, I can just lay it right back down. I could even change back to my stencil number 1 if I wanted to add more color somewhere. And because everything has stayed exactly where it was, and because this is an alignment tool, it's ready to go. And I could add more color if I wanted to. And it's going to line up. Aren't they beautiful? So whether you use the stencil or you just use the blending brushes, either way you have options. But the stencils absolutely make it easy peasy. Let's do the black one. And stencil number 1. And let's figure out where this is going to fit. Lock you in place. That seems good. We're just going to give it a whirl and see what happens. This time, however, I'm going to need to use luster wax. And I'm just going to hit it just easy peasy. Because remember, my dye-based inks won't work. So I'm just going to hit it easy peasy. Just build on that color. Just build on that color. I do a little bit of color. I let it dry for just a second or two. Come back, do a little bit of color. Let it dry for a second or two. And it just builds that color. I can lift it up, see how I'm doing, put it back down, and then move to my second stencil. Line it up. The little converters make all the difference in the world. Let's put my lids on. So that's my yellow, that's my red. In there. Love this color. And just go in there and stencil away on black paper. And maybe a little of my blue. Ooh. I don't know if leaves are teal and blue, but they sure look pretty. And then I might come back with just a little bit of my yellow. Now, to get the luster wax off your stencils, you're just going to use a magic eraser and it'll clean your stencils up just fine. Oh, so pretty. Done in the black. So lovely. And easy. Piece of cake. So both done with the stencil. And all 4 embossing folders have the stencil. All right, moving on. All right, I think I'm going to use this folder. And I can put this away for now because we're not going to need it. So bring my lid back over. I have put my alignment tool back where it belongs, up at the top. I put my lid right on in, close it up, and I am good to use it for another day. I'm going to use this folder, and I think I'm going to start with white paper. So let's cut a sheet of white. And let's make, let's use another one as a funnel. This time we're gonna jazz it up just a little bit. And in fact, maybe I will grab my bigger blending mat right here. So I'm gonna use my inks and I'm gonna emboss with my inks. You're like, but they're dye-based. I know, but we're still gonna emboss with them and it's gonna be magic. So we're gonna Stacey-fy everything from this point on. We've done the expected, we've done the pretty, we've done the without the stencil, luster wax on black, absolutely beautiful. With the stencil, which is just dreamy. With the stencil, you have options, all up to you. This time, we're gonna go a little step further. And I think I'm gonna start, I'm gonna do 2. I think I'm gonna do one in Admiral Blue. So here's my Admiral Blue. And I'm going to need clear embossing powder, which I have. I'm gonna move these out of the way so I don't get clear embossing powder in my luster wax. I've got my heat tool from Sizzix right here and my embossing folder right there. Okay, so I'm going to ink my entire sheet of paper. I'm going to leave a little handhold for me, but I'm going to ink it up. Now it doesn't have to be solid all the way through. A little bit of highs and lows are lovely. I'm going to take my clear embossing powder. Put it over the top, bring over my makeshift funnel. And I'm just going to move my embossing powder around all over. So anywhere my ink is wet, my embossing powder is going to stay. Now it's a dye-based ink. but it has a property that lets the ink stay wet long enough for us to get some embossing powder on it. When Jacquard said, what do you want your inks to do? Because they formulate them literally here in California. They're manufactured here in California. They're developed here in California. They're tested here in California. I told them my wish list, and then they went to make it. So I'm gonna get my heat tool, and if you haven't seen heat embossing before, what you need to know is this is a powder. If I wipe it off, it wipes right off. I need to add enough heat to melt it because this is a ground plastic. For all intents and purposes, it is a finely ground plastic that when you add heat from a heat tool, not a blow dryer and not a paint stripper, but when you add heat from a heat tool, the plastic melts. And you can literally see it happening. I can see it changing color. And that tells me I've added enough heat for that plastic to melt into a solid. I'm taking my time, and as I see it turn from a plastic into a solid, then I'm moving my heat tool. All right, now it only takes a few seconds for it to dry. Once the plastic cools down, it's dry. Now it's up to me if I want to add a second coat and do a double emboss now or a double emboss later. And maybe I'll do this one in the same blue, and that way we have apples to apples. And then I'll do one in the Plum Crazy. But let's do apples to apples. Make sure I don't have embossing powder all over this. I'm going to just ink this all up like I did the last one. So you see that I do have to put my ink on. My pad is a felt pad. It's not a hard foam pad. There's different ways to deliver ink when you're dealing with ink pads. So a felt pad gives you the opportunity to blend your ink a little bit more. A hard foam pad would go like this, and when you pick it up, you'd have that perfect full impression, full color of the ink. Both of them have their purposes and their reasons. I went with my felt pad because I knew what I wanted to do with my ink pads. I wanted to have variance in colors. I wanted to be able to adjust and modify. But if you're looking for a full coverage ink every time you put it down, that hard felt is, or hard foam is going to work for you that way. I wanted these to be easy to stamp with, easy to color with, and yet completely blendable and emboss. So let's bring this back over. I'm going to bring my embossing powder over again, And we're just going to do a wash, rinse, and repeat, because I think I'm going to do a double emboss on one of these so we can see what the difference would look like. So embossing powder, I'm just going to let it walk all the way down, and anywhere that ink is wet, my embossing powder is going to stick. A little bit of a tap. Put it all back. And I'm ready to go. Only I'm going to put my lid on because I know me. And let's heat this one. And this one will do a double emboss so you can see the difference. But we've got a long way to, well, not a long way to go. Oh, I just put my finger in it. Ah, Stacey. All right, bring it back over. Let's get my side again. Okay. All right. And I'm just going to let it turn. And that embossing powder is encapsulating that color. So now it will be a plastic on top, almost a non-porous surface. I'm almost there. All right, so now I got 2 peas in a pod. Exact same things. I'm going to do a double emboss on this one, and we're going to leave that one a single emboss. But we've got more to do. So I'm just going to grab my ink again, and I'm just going to go quickly over it. 1, 2, 3, because now I'm almost on a plastic. This is a smooth finish plastic top. Grab my embossing powder. Woo! Let it walk on down. Anywhere the ink is wet, the embossing is going to hold. Let's put the balance back into my tub. And that way we can look at apples to apples. I want you to be able to see the difference between them. And there may be no difference at all when we're completely said and done. And I'm just walking it along. I don't want to stay in any one place too long because you can burn embossing powder. You can fix it if you do it, but you can do it. And now my first layer of embossing powder is melting into my second layer. Okay. So there's a difference. You see how shiny that is? See how gloss that is? Well, this one has got a little bit of almost a orange peel effect. So you see the difference between the two? Now, I don't know if it's going to make any difference by the time we're done. Have no clue, because now we have to emboss them with the embossing folder. So let's take our first one and bring over our embossing folder. And we'll send it on through. Remember, base platform. With the Creative Expressions, you'll need the solo shim. Then your embossing folder with the chomp, chomp, chomp first. And then a top plate. Square your plates up and send it on through. Oh, I did it backwards. Stacey. Well, we'll try this one. See what happens. Let's make sure I put this one in properly. You're indexing on the front. Put it in. We'll have two different looks. No, I want my chomp, chomp, chomp first. Index on top. Make sure you see that name. Was anybody yelling at me? Stacey, you've got it in backwards. I didn't hear you. Roll it through. Now, there might be some white paper that comes through. There might be some cracks. I'm not going to worry about that at all. So a couple little cracks in my paper. Couple little cracks in my paper. I have no idea how this one's going to come in because this one's a deboss side versus an emboss side. But we'll try. What's the worst that can happen? I don't like it. But let's finish it. So now I come in with my luster wax. Now I come in with my luster wax. And let's start because the luster wax can go on top of the plastic. And let's add. And I want to go a little heavy. And I'm just going to go around the whole thing because I've got the negative space. I did the deboss side. So if it comes out really great, I did this on purpose. And if it doesn't, well, we live and we learn. So I've got some luster wax going on. I want it a little heavier. Ooh, that's good. And maybe I come in and I add some of my yellow. Again, I'm just going right over the top. I think I might like this. Okay, I'm gonna leave it. And we're not done yet. That looks really good though, but we're not done yet. Let's take our other and let's do the same thing. So I'm not gonna worry that there's some cracks going on. I'm not gonna worry about the white at all. I'm just gonna come in here and get some luster wax over all of it. And again, I'm gonna go a little bit heavier, little heavy-handed. Luster wax goes a long way, so don't worry about using it. These jars have lasted me over a year. Little heavy-handed. And then let's come in with my yellow. And I hit it again with my teal. Okay, I think that's good. Now this is the part you're gonna go, I'm sorry, what did she just do? This is the part you're gonna say, wait, what? I'm expecting you to say that. It's okay. Wait a minute, it's okay. If we have to, we can say it together. Wait, what did she just do? Go ahead, say it with me. What are you about to do, Stacey? I'm gonna ink over the top of this with my ink pad. Really? Really? Told you we're gonna Stacey-fy it. Wasn't kidding. I could leave it the way it is. It looks beautiful. But I'm gonna grab my blue ink pad again. Actually, I could grab almost any color I want. I wanna make sure this is dry, and it is. And I'm gonna just go all over. And then I'm gonna bring back my embossing powder. And anywhere my ink pad hit, my embossing powder is going to stick. It's not everywhere. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm going to put the embossing powder back in my tub. And we're going to heat set. Have I lost you? Did I just go off the deep end? Have I intrigued you? Are you leaning in a little closer to see what happens? What do you think? I haven't done that side yet. Look at the colors. Can you see the color? What do you think? And this was the deboss side. This is the oops side. Ooh, I told you we were gonna Stacey-fy stuff. I told you. So this is 2 coats. This is a coat of embossing powder on top of my ink. Then we did our luster wax. Then we did 1 more coat of embossing powder. How do we feel about that? And this was the wrong side. I was supposed to have done this side. Bam! It doesn't look like paper anymore, does it? I think people would be hard-pressed to understand that this is paper. White cardstock. Look at the color. But we have the other one to do. And then I want to do one in plum. So I still have this one. And this one I did a double emboss as opposed to a single. So I added an extra step. I'm not sure it's gonna make any difference because this is pretty flippin' rock star. But let's take our ink hit over the top. It doesn't harm my ink because the luster wax is dry. Embossing powder. right over the top. All right, anywhere I didn't hit, it's not going to stick. That's okay. Let's give it a whirl. Let me put my embossing powder back in. Lid on, off to the side, and let's heat set. Look at that color. That's like the most beautiful color ever. Now this is not hard to do. You've done embossing folders, you've used luster wax, you've used embossing powder. There is nothing here that requires any special skill at all. Nothing here that requires any special skill at all. Okay, this is dreamy. So the debossed oops side, the embossed side, I used some Sizzix embossing powder. I used my Jacquard inks because, again, Jacquard is known as a fine art company who is venturing into our play world, and they asked me, if you could have ink, Stacey, what would you want it to do? I told them, and just like Willy Wonka's factory, they made it. It doesn't look like paper anymore. It's white paper. So are we, well, now you have two to see. Now you have the front and the back. And you could love both of them equally as much. Let's do one in the Plum Crazy. Remind me to put the paper in correctly. So I've got my Plum Crazy. Ink up my paper. I'm going to leave a little bit of a handhold for me. And I'm not going to worry about my color not being consistent all the way through. That's just going to add to the texture of the finished product. Bring it on over. Embossing powder over the top of it. Put my embossing powder back. Heat set. I'm just going to do one coat this time as opposed to doing a double layer. Watch it turn from a powder into a solid. I'm moving with my color as it's turning. Okay. Now let's give it a second to dry. I think I missed a spot. Okay, let's give it a second to dry. And it's really not drying, it's cooling down. Once it's cool to the touch, it's done. Done. It's not really drying, it's plastic cooling to the touch. Let's put it inside my embossing folder with the name face up so I have it correct. I'm not going to do a double emboss this time, we'll just do a single. Let's send it on through. Chomp, 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 chomp. I'm not going to worry if there's little cracks in my paper because as I hit it with the ink the second time, it's going to take care of that. So all those little white spaces where it's cracked, I'm not going to worry about that at all. Nope. So let's get my luster wax, and what colors? Well, I'm partial to the turquoise. I can't help myself. Little heavy-handed is what you want to be, but I'm going to add a few colors. Ah. that's good? Let's go in with some blue. And then let's hit it with some yellow. No, thank you. A little turquoise guy wants to come off. Come on. Oh yeah, my little turquoise guy. I got him so wet he wants to come off. All right, how about it? Well, I'll borrow you. You think that's enough? I could just keep adding color. I'm really bad about that. I say it's enough, but then I go back in and I add even more. All right, done. You think that's enough? Okay, now let's give it a second to dry, because then I'm going to take my ink and I'm going to go right back over the top of it. So luster wax only takes a minute or two to dry, sometimes not even that long, sometimes just seconds. Yeah, we're almost there. Okay, embossing powder. It's not everywhere, but I'm okay with that. And then put it back in, and then let's heat. So that only has 2 coats of embossing powder. And that second coat is now going to melt into the first coat. And I'm encapsulating that luster wax below the coat of embossing powder. Give it a second to cool down, because it doesn't dry, it cools down. And look at what we've made. Now this is taking everything to a different level. I agree. I mean, the embossing folders are beautiful all on their own. They're beautiful with the stencils. This is just taking it to a place that maybe you would like to play. It doesn't hurt to play and to try and to forget that there's a box. Don't be inside a box. This is done with dye-based ink, Sizzix luster wax, and embossing powder. And it becomes sheer magic. Absolutely stunning. Play with the colors, play with the inks, experiment, try. And make something you've never done before, even if it's a happy accident like this. It wasn't hard, didn't take a lot of time. I didn't have to be talented to do it. I just put my ink down, threw some embossing powder, heat it, sent it through my machine, put some luster wax down, put some ink over the top of that and more embossing powder, and I was good to go. And the colors are absolutely dreamy. And it does not look like white paper. Nobody is going to believe that this is paper. But it is. Sorry. It's paper. Who knew? Pretty fabulous. So my goodness, today we started so simple. We started with just an embossing folder and my blending brushes and my inks, no stencil at all. Then we moved to black. With luster wax. Again, no stencil, we just went for it. Then we moved to stenciling, so embossing with the stencil. And we did it in our black as well. And then we started to get a little bit fun. We started to step outside our box, forget there was a box, and take white paper to something that is completely unexpected, out of the norm, and yet beautiful. The colors of the luster wax just come through. I did this one a little earlier. Right? Isn't that beautiful? Oh, and I did this one too. Look at how beautiful. And you can do this. You have the tools. You have the power. You have the creativity to do any of this. But it all starts with great product from Creative Expressions. It starts with great product from Sizzix. We've got all 4 of the, you can do the embossing folders by themselves. You can do the embossing folders as an I Want It All bundle, or you can do the embossing folders with the stencils. You cannot get the stencils on their own. It's either with the embossing folder or you get just the embossing folder. But we have all 4 of them in whatever configuration makes your heart happy. You love just one of them, you love just 2 of them, you just want the embossing folders, or you want it with the stencils. We've got all of it for you. I didn't even get to use these today. We've got Fantastics back. So we'll put those online, but I didn't even get to use them today. I was going to, but I got so involved with what I was doing, I forgot. Then we have the blending. The minis, they're mini blending. We're only selling them as the pack. I brought in a whole bunch of them from overseas, from Studio Light. I bought all they had. And when they're gone, they'll be gone for a while. We'll have the luster wax all on sale for you. The 7 exclusive colors that you can only find here at Scrapbooking Made Simple. They are absolutely stunning. We'll leave my dye inks on sale. Remind me, I'll need to put the Sizzix embossing powder. If I forget, if you don't see it, that's because I forgot. So remind me to put the embossing powder on sale. And maybe we'll do the heat tool too, because you'll need that. So I have to remember to do the embossing powder and the heat tool. Elena doesn't know about that yet. So I'll remember to do that. All right, and then samples. Well, I showed you the ones that I made, and I'm pretty happy with what I did. I think they're just lovely. I don't think that there's a bad one in the bunch. I had way too much fun playing. See now, Michael Jr. has to make, he's gonna have to mat all of these and take pictures of them. Here you go. But then I have samples of everything. Let me grab them. All right, so I showed you this one in the beginning. And I put it next to this one so you could see same stencil, 2 different size cards. Look at this. Just this cute little mini. Just cutting that little tiny piece out. And then here. Look familiar? Christine Smith did this one. And look at how beautiful is this. Again, just stenciling. It's beautiful. Christine Smith did that one too. We've got a big best wishes. And this is Siobhan Fife. And be real, not perfect. I agree with that. I agree, I agree, I agree. Be real, not perfect. Isn't this so pretty? And this is Yvette. Love it. Emma Kemp. Beautiful. Hello, friend. Hello, Emma Kemp. This is gorgeous. All these different size cards made out of the same embossing folders. Enjoy your day. I love this coloring. This is by Siobhan Fife. Oh my goodness. Girlfriend, this is stunning. So Creative Expression sent us all the samples. They knew we were tight on time because I had been at the show. So they sent all the samples. This is Emma Kemp. Usually our SMS girls will help with the samples, but they didn't have time. Look at this. And wait, there's another one coming up. I might put this one to the side and show you the other one. How soft and sweet and lovely. Happy birthday. This is Emma. Oh, hello, Christine Smith. You're talking my language right here. Yummy. And then look at this. Is this not absolutely stunning? Siobhan, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. Look at this. Look at this. This is amazing, girlfriend. Stunning. You decide the card size you want to make, or the layout you want to do, or the mini album cover. Love these colors. This one's Katie. Love it. I guess maybe we did do a few of them. This one is made by Kim. Kim Rygate. Pretty, Kim. Really pretty. Okay, here's the one I want to show you. So here's the happy anniversary. And here's the best wishes. That was very clever, wasn't it? Very clever, but I have no idea who made these, but it was very clever, whoever did these. Happy anniversary. Love and hugs. Happy birthday. Enjoy your day. Look at how beautiful is this. Today is a new day. Ah, Katie, this is beautiful. I don't know if that's our Katie or their Katie, but I love it. It's beautiful. Just a note to say, and I'm going to assume on the inside it would say hello. This is Kim. And this is Siobhan. Isn't that beautiful? It's amazing. This is such a small card, but it could be this big of a card. Crazy, right? Just taking snippets of it. And then look at this. Look familiar? Pretty. This is Christine. Lovely. Today's a new day. You are amazing. And then all of the ones that I did, which I've already shown you, which we did here today on camera with you following right along. And we just made pretty things happen. All right, you guys. Well, that's it for me. It's midnight here, and I have to go get this loaded, and then I have to go home. But it's late. But we had fun. I told you it would be a good time. I told you that we would Staceyfy something and that you'd go, psh, what did she do? Did she just do that? Oh boy, did she ever. Yes, she did. And it comes out beautifully. And it's paper. It's paper, it's ink, it's embossing powder. You've got it. Let's do it. Pull it out, rewind me, and let's do this again, shall we? So where are you going to find all of this great product? Well, Creative Expressions is carried by lots of independent retailers, so you may be able to find the stencils and the 3D embossing folders at a local independent retailer. The luster wax is exclusive to Scrapbooking Made Simple. Hello. So you'll find it here if it's something you love, love, love. And of course my inks are at lots of independent retailers. You can find my inks, my jacquard dye-based inks at lots of independent retailers. Absolutely. They are sold globally. It is not an exclusive to Scrapbooking Made Simple. It is a product that you can find in many, many, many countries. So if you love the inks and you love the properties and what they can do, seek them out and ye shall find. All right, so it is me, Stacey, Scrapbooking Made Simple, scrapbookingmadesimple.com, saying thank you for being here today. Remember, Monday morning, 9 a.m., Tim Holtz, Stampers Anonymous. There is a sneak peek on our YouTube channel right now. I will have it all for you. Monday morning, 9 a.m. sunny California time. That's 11 a.m. Central and noon Eastern. Come spend Monday morning with me when we look at the brand new Tim Holtz product. I have free gifts and sale. I've got value pricing, and then I will be back at 5 p.m. on Monday for our Make It Monday event, where we have anywhere from an $80 to $100 value from a favorite manufacturer for you, just $19.99. All right, you guys, I'm going to go down, I'm going to get this loaded, and then I will see you all well, good morning, everybody. It is Saturday. I will see you soon. I'm Stacey. Don't make me laugh. I'm Stacey, Scrapbooking Made Simple. Bye, everybody. Don't make me laugh.